this is the hoverboard in action. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of AT Tech. I'm your host, as always, AndrewT. Now, before we start this episode, because we have a little bit of ground to cover, I gotta give a shout out to my cousin, Eddie Bones. He has his own YouTube channel. You need to check him out because he has skits, rants, and a lot to check out. It's really cool. Actually, some of his episodes are pretty impressive. You have to check them out. I'll put the link in the description below, as well as a card on the side. So any moment now, there should be a card coming out letting you guys know, and that's on the upper right hand corner of your screen. That'll let you guys have, well, direct access to his YouTube channel. You need to check it out. He's very funny, very creative, and he's all around a nice guy. I have to give a quick shout out to Eddie Bones because he has loaned me his Canon camera. So thank you, cuz. Thank you very much. I needed this. In today's episode, I need the assistance of this guy right here. Yeah, you guys might be wondering, why does AndrewT need to keep a fire extinguisher on call for this episode? Well, I'll tell you why. In today's episode, we're gonna check out Don't worry, the board isn't in here. So my sister, who I have to give a shout out to too, Ashley, thank you very much for loaning out your hoverboard for me, AndrewT, to utilize in this episode of AT Tech. And I wanted to show you the box for an explicit reason. Now, I know a lot of you out there have been wondering if balance boards were the way to go, if they're good, if they're bad, or if they're just dangerous. So in this episode, we're gonna explore a few of those characteristics of the balance board. This one is in between a range of $200 to $300. So there are a few out there that cost about $400, there are a few that cost $600, there are a few that cost $800, and it goes on up until about $1,500. Now, they say the safest ones are the more expensive ones because they tend to have been certified for safety. So in this case, as you can see here, close, this is the Smart Balance Wheel. This is not one of the more expensive models. And with that being said, we're gonna take a look at safety protocols to utilize with those cheaper models for them not to explode. And just so you know, it's not the balance board itself that's exploding, it's actually the lithium-ion battery that's inside of them.
This large object here is the battery. This is a large lithium-ion battery, and this is what's responsible for the fire. So the first thing I'm going to do before I touch anything else inside of this is I'm going to disconnect the battery.
When you have these boards charging, the first key is you can't leave it charging overnight. You have to leave it charging where you can monitor it. But I want to show you guys real quick that the cheap models can be utilized safely, and just in case we can't, we have the fire extinguisher just to make sure. But safety first. Children out there, please be warned. If you guys do decide to ride a hoverboard, I have to stress, and adults too, because anybody can fall on a hoverboard. I'm just gonna be honest. You can roll over a crack, there's so many different ways you can fall. It's ridiculous. Actually, I seen a video on WorldStar where this guy was on the edge of a building just rolling around, showing that he's very good on the hoverboard. I thought that was very idiotic because he's on the roof of the building, as a matter of fact. And as him just rolling around, even if you're an expert, even if you designed it and you know exactly how to utilize it, you can't account for a slip and fall accident. No matter how much balance you have, no matter how much you feel like you can handle it, you cannot account for an accident, because that's what an accident is. And anybody, any person is subjected to having accidents. So I have to stress children, adults, everybody out there, if you're gonna ride the hoverboard, do so safely, wear your helmet, wear your guards, and if you can, keep a fire extinguisher around if you're not sure how to utilize it, because again, again, you want to monitor that board. And even monitoring the board does not guarantee that the battery won't explode for some random reason. I seen a video where somebody was riding down the street and then poof, it set on fire. It could have been that the person overcharged the board and then decided to ride it. We can't verify that information. However, I have seen enough tech shows and reviewed enough of the product to know that that is the main reason for these hoverboards exploding. So bear that in mind, but still bear in mind you are riding one at your own risk. As you can see, this right here is a hoverboard. The key to riding it is really just about balance. You can actually reverse out. See, ride it backwards, ride it forward. And it can really go pretty fast. But another thing to throw in mind while we're talking about it, these are kind of illegal right now. We live in New York City and they're very illegal on the streets. So you'd really be riding these at your own whim. But you can be subjected to, I believe, a $200 fine or higher. So bear in mind, riding them on the streets of New York, you're subjecting yourself to fines. The same chips that exist in this with the accelerometer and the gyroscope, they exist in our smartphones nowadays as well in order to detect the motion of our smartphones. So these things are becoming common interests in our computer consumer needs and technology and wants. So when it comes to these Segways, I know a lot of people out there may be thinking, hey, who is this guy? He may not know what he's talking about. So in this video, you're gonna see some CNET video as well that will show you guys exactly what I'm saying here. Because the key component in these unsafe issues with this hoverboard is primarily the battery. So I want you to understand that, and I want you to understand where people have gone wrong. And I'm not here to say it's anybody's fault in particular, because honestly it's not. It's about having the education and knowledge to be able to make these decisions on your own. So I've been riding this literally for about 20 minutes now, and as you can see, it's not caught fire yet. I've actually had to stop the video 3 times already and charge this up as well as the camera in order for everybody, well, for me to continue this video at the moment. The main reason I'm actually still riding this as the video progresses is because I want you to understand that it's not about the product, it's about the safety procedures you do in order to prevent anything negative from happening. In case of these hoverboards, them catching fire, the lithium-ion battery being punctured in any way, being ruptured, you crashing, all of these things matter because the housing that you have the lithium-ion battery in could just rupture as you crash. There are many different reasons that these can catch fire, and you may not know because you haven't seen the inside. And actually, a good point, CNET has done a cracking opening of this, and I believe it's about 17 minutes long. But it's definitely worth the look just to see what's on the inside of your hoverboard. Actually, on any episode of CNET that they've done cracking open, and it's actually a long series of different products, major products that have come out that they've done cracking opens on. I think if you own that product, you should see the cracking open because it teaches you a lot about your product. And not only that, it teaches you about the repairability. So you know, if to, like for example, the iPhone 6s, they've done a cracking open of it. They've done it so that you can see yourself if you're able to personally do a screen replacement. Because in all honesty, I've done a few screen replacements and some of the iPhones are easy, but some of them are a little complicated. For example, the iPhone 4 and 4S requires you to gut out the interior of the phone before you can get to the digitizer, which is the front glass of the iPhone. As an example, the iPad, it requires you to have a heat gun to actually warp the edges of it because the front glass or digitizer is actually glued on the glue. My point is, I'm here to educate you. Each and every webisode that I do here, I actually do a lot of looking up of these products and the knowledge and so forth, just to make sure I'm accurately giving you the information outward. So, in summary, I'm here to help you.
But it's these batteries that are what's causing the fire. And then we're going to talk about the hardware a little bit inside. There's a couple reasons why these batteries can catch fire. One is, if I were to take something that's like this, really sharp, and start poking these batteries, it would expose the chemicals inside the batteries, and that is bad. That'll cause batteries to explode. The other thing is, if these batteries overheat, so if they're exposed to something that's really hot, if you're on a hoverboard and you have a crash, that could puncture the battery. Also, the batteries can be cheaply made. There's something called thermal runaway, where if the separation material between the anode and the cathode is just not aligned properly or isn't manufactured properly, you can have a thermal runaway inside the battery, which causes it to overheat and then burst into fire. Also, so this is something that's really interesting about the hoverboards. Jason, open this box up here.
Yes.
And I'm not singling this particular brand out, this model out, as a potential fire risk or not, but open the box up there.
All right.
And Jason's going to pull out, while I'm doing this, I'm going to disconnect some of these cables here. So this is the charger that it comes with. Now, so you would
looks
think,
familiar.
yeah, you would think that you could just plug this up and leave this overnight, right? And then you'd have a nice brand new charged hoverboard in the morning. No, you can't do that. If you'll look, Jason, lift up some of the paper right there. There's a little piece of paper, okay, and it says, important, do not charge hoverboard overnight or it risks exploding. Now, you know, it's one thing, it's nice, I'm sure that the lawyers are very happy that they put this piece of paper in there, but if you've got one of these for one of your kids and they just forget and leave it plugged up in the garage or in the living room, you know, that's probably not, you know, it's not going to help you any because there's this piece of paper in there.
Yeah. But I also wanted to show you that they're not as dangerous as everybody is suspecting. Really is about you and your safety practices that you do. Thank you for watching this episode of AndrewT Tech. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more webisodes. All right, that's it. We're out. Deuces.